believer who is building something, you have to know that you are not doing this alone. Mm-hmm. And I think it's unfair for us to create this platform or get online and act as if we are. Like, I want people to experience what God has done in my life and what God is doing in my life. And the only way that they're going to experience it is if they know. Like, I have to tell them, this is what I'm doing. It's not like I just woke up and my mind has, this new profound way of thinking. No, it was a process of me actually building a relationship with God. And I know how Kionnie was prior to building a relationship with God. So like I say, I think it's very unfair for us to act as if we are not doing it without him. And I feel like another, thing that really boosted my confidence is I know the more that I have, the more that I keep God's name in my mouth, the more I want to get rewarded, the more I want to get blessed, because it's an act of gratitude. Like, God knows that I know that he is working within me. Yeah. Like, even though people see the Responsible Homegirl, they see Kionnie, they may shout my praises, toot my horn, none of that really matters.
So hello, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another episode of the Honest Plan podcast. I am your host, Tiana Hicks. I'm founder of the Honest Plan. And today I'm so excited because I'm joined with Kionnie Epps, who is the creator of the Responsible Homegirl. And this is my first time ever interviewing someone else. So nervous, but we are going to work through the kinks. And I know we are going to have an amazing conversation because Kionnie is nothing but gems. So Kionnie, without further ado, welcome to the Honest Plan podcast. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all. And Tiana, thank you so much for even having me on your podcast. When you asked, I was like, oh my gosh, me? But thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning back into another episode, because I strongly believe the more we have access and we listen to these conversations, the better world we can create. Sometimes we think it's just about our individual lives, but the more we learn, the more we can share, and the more we grow, and the more we help other people. But I won't dig too deep into that. A little bit about me. I am from King Street, South Carolina, which is a very small town in South Carolina. I went to school at the College of Charleston, completely debt-free. And from that, you would probably think oh, she had it all together. She had all of these scholarships, blah, blah, blah. But that is further from the truth. So my senior year of college, I moved off campus. My mom was totally against it. And I had so much scholarship money that every semester I would receive anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000. So I want you to just imagine an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old with a $7,000 refund check. So I am literally blowing my money on unnecessary stuff, food, nails, clothes, hair, just all sorts of stuff, which was fine my freshman and junior year of college, freshman through junior year, because I had no bills for real. I was literally only paying my phone bill. But my senior year, what changed, I still got my refund check, but now I had an apartment. I had bills, I had rent, a light bill, car payment, phone bill. So I had all of those bad money habits with this money and responsibilities. So it came a time I would never forget, November of 2019, December 1st was coming around, and I did not have my rent money, which was $889. So in that moment, Tiana, I'm like, okay, do I go back and talk to my mom and ask her for this money and hear, some curse words, some woulda, coulda, shoulda, some whatever, and get the money? Or do I just figure this out on my own? So I chose the latter option, and it was really, I would say, a pride thing. I just didn't want to hear my mom's mouth. But it really helped me out, and that is what helped me become the Responsible Homegirl. So before me, the Responsible Homegirl, it was an irresponsible homegirl. I was the friend that said, oh, spend a check and get it right back.
Okay.
All of these bad money habits and money mindsets. So that's just a little bit about me. We can dig more deeper into the story as we go on, but I don't want to prolong it.
Yes, I love that. I love it. And I can resonate so much with that. Of course, I didn't go to school debt-free. I wish I would have. or could have. I did not go to school debt free, but I was in that same cycle. And my cycle started young too, at the age of 16 with, getting a little job and thinking, like you said, I can spend a check and get it right back. And once I graduated, realized quickly that that is not how it works in the real world. You can spend a check and then you'll be on your tail, or you'll have a late payment to pay. So I love that. I kind of want to dig a little deeper into your money story, or because I know that you told us about the time where you didn't have enough to last for your rent. But I'm curious on what was that pivotal moment that took you from like, okay, this cannot happen ever again. Because sometimes we'll have those moments where, yeah, I was put in a sticky situation, but I made my way out of it. So, oh yeah, I work well under pressure. So I can just continue to do it. So what was that moment that you're like, no, this is it for me, and allowed you to turn like something that was so stressful for you into a platform where now you help women do the same thing that you once needed help with?
Right. And thank you so much for asking that question. I do want to say that everybody's journey is different. And I think because my one moment was such a big moment, like I was facing eviction. And I had never want to like be in that position again. And I was a full-time student. I was working 2 jobs and I had absolutely nothing to show for it. Nothing in my savings, nothing, literally nothing. So that had me reflecting on, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like, am I doing just enough to get by? I'm 20 years old. It's like 21, one of the two, living paycheck to paycheck and stressed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this cannot be what life is. And I had heard growing up, like a lot of people struggling financially, and I had never experienced it. But being in that, I realized that nobody taught us a thing about money. Like, we work these jobs and we're expected to be good with money, but nobody teaches us how to budget, how to save, and not even how, but why is it important? And in the midst of my situation, I was learning why it was important, because when you're really going through stuff, you experience so many different emotions. And for me, one of my emotions was shame. Like, I was out there dressed up, looking nice, looking good, partying, doing all of this stuff, but was about to get evicted. So it was a whole level of just like embarrassment, shame, so much stuff tied to like my lack of resources. So that one moment did it for me. And I was like, God, if you get me out of this, like, not only will I would not be in this situation by my own irresponsible decisions, but I'll also help other people, because I know I'm not the only 20-something struggling with.
Oh, I love that. So did you, when you were building the Responsible Homegirl, did it start off as, okay, I'm taking you guys along my journey, or I've already like gotten to where I need to be? This is what's helped me. This is how I can help you, type of thing?
Yeah, so it was the latter. So before I taught anybody anything or tried to teach anybody anything, I had to get myself together. So the Responsible Homegirl, it came after a series of me reading books, listening to podcasts, getting myself exposed and really changing my habits. Like, I can remember my friend saying, Key, you want to go this place? And I'm like, no. Key, you want to go get your nails done? No. So it took a sacrifice season. And I still feel like I'm in a sacrifice season. It's really a journey. But before I created this platform and started teaching anybody anything, I really had to get myself together, because I don't want to get online and tell people something that I'm not doing, right?
Yeah.
It's giving fraud.
It's giving fraud, yeah. Go ahead.
So I knew for a fact, like, I didn't want to arrive at a place, but I definitely wanted to not be in the same place that I had been in months ago before I started giving financial advice.
Yes. Oh, that's really interesting. And it's kind of the opposite of what I did, because I didn't look at it as a business. I didn't know people were financial educators and got paid for it. Like, I saw all of these different people on YouTube and Instagram just sharing like, hey, I'm budgeting my money, like, come watch me budget. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, let me do that. So I started it as like a little diary, and then it kind of turned into this. So it's interesting to see like how other financial educators kind of went about creating this business, this brand to help other women, accomplish financial freedom. So I absolutely love what you do. I love your mission. And like you said, like creating these platforms, although we're helping you all, it helps hold us accountable too, because I'm like, anytime I'm about to make a careless decision, I'm like, girl, I know you're not going to renege on what you just said. So it's a journey. Like you said, it's a journey.
Right.
So I want to take a step back and just rewind a little bit, because I listened to a podcast episode that you had recently, and you were talking about your pivot and how you got to a place where you understood that it was time to actually step back from the business that you were creating, go back to the drawing board and like, no, this is actually where God is taking me. This is what I need to be, the message that I want to give. This is what I want to share with the world. Talk to us about that, pivoting in your business.
Absolutely. And I love this question so much because people see the Responsible Homegirl today, but I didn't start off with the Responsible Homegirl. So I really started this platform, this brand, in April of 2020. And the name of that brand was called Goal, Grind, Grow. And as I was growing, I would say in my finances, I was also growing spiritually. Yeah. And I was reading this Bible plan called Grace Over Grind. And really, in my mind, I still had how can I say it? I had this mindset that I had to achieve everything on my own, or everything that I was going to get, it came from me and my hard work. But that's not true. And I really want believers and people and women of faith to know that you don't have to strive and hustle and grind and do all of this stuff. So I felt like my messaging was conflicting with what I believed. So I had to take a step back and really figure out, how do I want to show up? What problem am I solving? What message do I really want to put out there that's going to stretch far beyond just Kionnie Epps? So I literally took I want to say maybe 3 or 4 months off. I didn't post anything. I wasn't talking about personal finances or anything. And one day I was doing this. Before that, I was praying to God and I was just asking him, please send me a new name for the Responsible Homegirl. Please send me a new vibe. But I wanted a whole total rebrand. And one day I was sitting down doing this worksheet and it was like, how do you want people to view you? And immediately it came to me as the Responsible Homegirl. Not a financial guru, not a money expert. Yes, I may be all of those things, but I really want to be relatable. I want people to see themselves in me. I want people to know, it's okay to make irresponsible financial decisions, but your Responsible Homegirl is here to say, sis, come on now. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
With the fantasy. Make it make sense, right? So I think it's very important for anyone listening and you're wanting to build a brand. Sometimes you have to take a step back to really propel yourself forward. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. And I was very hesitant about changing the name and doing a rebrand because it was so fresh. But when I did it, it was crazy. People were like, I love the Responsible Homegirl. Oh my gosh, this is so unique. This is so different. And it was honestly the best thing I could have done for my business.
Oh, that is so good. And there's so many things that I want to touch on, from what you said. One of the things being that as a believer, I know when I was building my business, I was scared to share with people that I was a believer because I'm like, we live in an age where everything can be viewed as disrespectful or offensive to people. So I was like, well, I know this is what I believe in. And I know that this is what God has for me and wants me to do. But I was still in a place where I was trying to build the business without him because I didn't want to offend other people. So how did you, and it honestly took me till this year, maybe the end of 2021 to get to a place where I openly say I'm a believer. I openly reference God. And since then, like you said, it's been so much better. I've been able to connect with people on a different level than just talking at them. But no, this is what is important to me, and they kind of get a better sense of Tiana outside of the Honest Plan. So what helped you, I guess, build the confidence to be like, no, this is God's work. Like, this is not Kionnie's work. This is God's work. And if you guys are going to support me, it's going to be, you're supporting what God is doing with me.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up, because any believer who's building something, you have to know that you are not doing this alone. Mm-hmm. And I think it's unfair for us to create this platform or get online and act as if we are. Like, I want people to experience what God has done in my life and what God is doing in my life. And the only way that they're going to experience it is if they know. Like, I have to tell them, this is what I'm doing. It's not like I just woke up and my mind has, this new profound way of thinking. No, it was a process of me actually building a relationship with God. And I know how Kionnie was prior to building a relationship with God. So like I say, I think it's very unfair for us to act as if we are not doing it without him. And I feel like another, thing that really boosted my confidence is I know the more that I have, the more that I keep God's name in my mouth, the more I want to get rewarded, the more I want to get blessed, because it's an act of gratitude. Like, God knows that I know that he is working within me. Yeah. Like, even though people see the Responsible Homegirl, they see Kionnie, they may shout my praises, toot my horn. None of that really matters. Yeah. Like, yes, I have to execute and I have to, apply action to my vision. But without God, without prayer, none of it really manifests the way it's supposed to manifest.
Yes.
It can look good, but it cannot be God.
Yes. And it doesn't matter how many times you write it down and put it on a sticky note and put it on your, did God say it? Because we live in a world right now where you can just manifest everything. You can manifest $1 million company. You can manifest a mansion, all that stuff.
The process, because I believe God wants us to manifest certain things. I feel like manifestation is an act of faith, right? Yeah. But we have to understand where our help comes from, who our source is. Yeah. It's not us working from morning, noon, and night. And that's why I literally had to change the name of Go Grind Grow, because I feel like it was perpetuating this grind and hustle culture, like, do it yourself. Yeah. No, I don't want you to do it yourself. I want you to do it with God. Prioritize rest and work and walk in purpose, because as you do that, your journey is so much easier.
It is so much easier. It is so much easier. And I guess one last thing about the pivoting thing that I wanted to touch on was how you spoke about you took 3 to 4 months away from the business to just pour into yourself, pour into your vision before you came back. And so I know a lot of people will stray away from pivoting because they feel like that 3 to 4 months of just being quiet, laying low, staying to yourself is viewed as, well, dang, I failed. I've already put this out in the world. Everyone is expecting me to be on Reels and on live and all this stuff. But right now I'm actually prioritizing my vision. I'm prioritizing what God is saying to me. How, I guess, did you look at it in a way where, no, I understand that this is important for me, and it's not more so failure? So I guess, what would you say to someone that is in a season right now where they know that it's time to pivot, but they're scared of being viewed as failing?
Yeah. And honestly, I had to deal with that because they say, oh, you need to be online and post 3 to 5 times a day and all of this different stuff. So it was a struggle at first. And I just have to remind myself that what is for me will not pass me, period. So anybody listening right now, I want you to understand what is for you will not pass you. And you do not want to delay being obedient to God, because the longer you delay, the longer you are staying away from your promise, honestly. And like I say, sometimes you just have to slow down to speed up. So just remember, what is for you will not pass you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I Also, from like just looking at your Instagram, I know that the Responsible Homegirl is not your only stream of income. And on the Honest Plan podcast, you know, I'm very, very big on everyone creating something that outlives them. Like, so creating a business, creating a side hustle, but also like having multiple streams of income. So I saw that another stream of income for you is wholesaling mobile homes, which is like, so like, I felt like that was so unique. I'm like, how in the world did you even like get into that that space? How did you hear about that? How do people start? So I guess first start off by telling us like, what is wholesaling mobile homes?
Absolutely. So wholesaling mobile homes is essentially you're acting as a middleman. So someone wants to sell their mobile home, and then you have someone else on the other side who wants to buy a mobile home. So you are the person who's responsible for making the deal happen. You are the person responsible for connecting a seller and a buyer, and you get paid from a product that you don't own. So that is the beauty in wholesaling mobile homes, because literally you really don't need any money. You need time, you need a work ethic, you need energy, effort, but you don't really need a product, and you don't really need any money. You are acting as a middleman, connecting a seller with a buyer.
Okay, that is so great. So I guess listening to you say that, it kind of reminds me of like when people wholesale products. It's kind of something similar where they don't actually own the product, but someone's going to maybe their drop shipping website and just purchasing it, and me, the seller, really doesn't have much to do with it other than the marketing piece. That is kind of what it sounds like to me. Okay, so how did you start in that business? Or if there's someone that's listening that's like, yeah, I need to find a side hustle. I don't have, like, I'm not really interested in creating my own business. So maybe this is something that I'm interested in. How can they start?
Absolutely. So the way that I even got introduced to wholesaling mobile homes, I remember I told y'all in 2019, I started 2019, 2020, I started listening to all of these different podcasts. And I would never forget, I don't know who podcast it was on, but the mobile home elite investors were on the podcast. If you're listening, follow them on Instagram right now. They give out so much free game. But I was listening to them on a podcast, and they were just talking about mobile home investing and ways to get started without having any money. So I'm like, that sounds very interesting, because your girl really don't have no money right now. I'm trying to work my way on up. Okay. So fast forward, probably like maybe 6 months later, I actually invested in their course. So paid $250 for their course. Still did not take action right away. I procrastinated, didn't take action until about 4 months later. But literally the gems and everything that I learned in the course really propelled me forward, because they basically gave the game. Of course, I had my own journey. I had my own experiences. So there were times where I had to fall flat on my face, make so many mistakes. Like, it took me 6 months to close my very first deal. So somebody may like get into this and they may be discouraged, but it literally took me 6 months to see a return on my investment. And part of that was me procrastinating, being lazy, having my hands in too much at one time, but I made it happen. Yeah. Now, fast forward, I hosted my very first Saturday school where I am teaching people how to wholesale, and I've already had a student. She closed her first deal in less than 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
So it is just crazy how you can, like, learn, take the knowledge and actually apply it when you don't procrastinate and don't sleep on what it is that people are sharing with you.
Yes. And I love that you said and kind of shared with us that it took 6 months to even get my first return on investment.
Yep.
That just goes to show you guys, even when I'm bringing people on here and we're talking about all the different ways that people are making money, in no way, shape, or form are we saying everything is a good get rich quick scheme.
Not at all.
You're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have some time. So many people come up to me, they're like, Tiana, like, I'm wanting an additional stream of income. What can I do? I don't want to do this, that. I don't want to learn anything new. I don't really have the time. I don't want to work on Saturdays. I'm like, well, girl, I don't I don't know what you can do. My hands are tied. So you're going to have to do something. Like, it's going to be some type of effort. It may not be as much as or demanding as your 9 to 5, but it's going to be something. So I thank you so much for just sharing that. It could take some time. It could take from 2 weeks, like your client did, or 6 months, just based off how bad you want it, how much time you have to put into it. Like, how are you going to use the people like Kionnie? She has, like she said, Saturday school where she teaches you how to start your wholesaling business. Are you actually going to come, have questions, be prepared, review the material, do the homework that she gives you? It's going to take some time, but there are so many different ways that we can make money. There's so much money out here for us all. All of us can win. All of us can be wealthy. And so I just really love this, like just how you've been able to build your business and start, selling mobile homes on the side as well. I'm curious, do you have a 9 to 5 too?
No, I don't.
Oh, you do this full time.
So I am very blessed. Once I graduated college, I moved back home with my mom, and I live completely rent-free. Don't have to pay any bills beyond just, my own personal, like car payment, phone bills, stuff like that. Yeah. And I always tell young adults, because my audience, my community is like 20-somethings, majority females. If you have to sacrifice and move back home, do it.
Yes.
Do it. I have so many friends that complain about paying $1,300 and $1,400 rent. I cannot relate. I can't relate. Like, the money that we put in so many things that do not matter, the money that we put in things that really could be investments for our financial futures, our self-care, our futures in general, why not do it? And of course I would want to be living alone by myself, away from family. But why? Like, the sacrifice that I'm making right now is going to pay off so much better in the long run. So no, I do not have a 9 to 5. My mom is like very supportive of what I'm building. And she's like, Kionnie, as long as you clean up, girl, you can stay here for free. So I'm like, okay.
And use it. Like, so many people compare themselves to what they see online, or, oh, so-and-so just bought a house, so-and-so just did this. I love what you're doing. Like, you're just taking this time out to just build and use the resources available to you. That sometimes there are family members that are willing to support you while you are young, while you are, having a vision in mind. Of course, for me, I'm sure family members will be like, okay, well, but what's the vision? Make sure that you have the vision. You're just not wanting to like lay around. But if you do and you're working hard, they will support you. If you just ask, like, just use the people around you. Do not make your bed hard for no reason,
Right.
So I love that.
Are always looking for their family members to support them monetarily when there are other ways that your family members can support you. Yeah. Like, say for instance, you want to move to another state. You may not, you may have a family member that lives there and you can't live there rent free, but you can save money by maybe paying them $600 or $700 versus your own apartment where you have to pay $1,400. Yes. So we have to look at things like that and look at the people in our lives, because God has placed them in our lives to help us with our purpose, with our destiny. But we have to be able to have the foresight to look and see, okay, this person plays this role, that person plays this role, and not be afraid to ask. Yeah. The only thing to say is yes or no.
Yes, absolutely. This has been so good. So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned your Saturday school. So tell us a little bit about that, how any of our listeners can work with you if they're like, yeah, I need to go ahead and get into wholesaling mobile homes. I want to work with Kionnie. And I know that's not the only thing that you do. Well, you can tell us, just tell us, like, what are some ways that we can work with you, Saturday school, all the things that you have going on?
Absolutely. So starting off with Saturday school, my very first Saturday school was on March 19th. And Saturday school came about because y'all know, like, I have this platform, this brand, and I share all of this financial education. But I wanted to work with a group of women who actually wanted to do the work.
Yeah.
So I allowed 20 spots. We had 15 that filled up. And it was just my way of really teaching them how to wholesale. And it was, of course, on Saturday. That's why I call it Saturday school. And I'm working with them for 3 months. So this is not like your typical course where, you just come, you get the replay, and that's that. No, I want to make sure I am there every step of the way because I didn't have that throughout my wholesaling journey.
Yeah.
Like, it took 6 whole months to close my first deal because, yes, I invested in a course, but it was nobody who I could really pick up the phone and call and kind of navigate this journey, right? So we're on a 3-month journey together. The next Saturday school will be in June. And I was very, very, very intentional with that because I don't want to bring new students in and my old students are still not seeing results, right?
Yeah.
I want them to have a very good understanding of what it is they're doing, how Kionnie is helping them, and just, there with them on their journey, which is the same thing that I'm going to do when I rehost it again in June.
Yeah.
So kind of depending on how fast my students get results, like I'll see if I needed to do every 2 months or every 3 months. But really for me, it's really about seeing other people win, not just me getting you in a course so I can take their money. Like, I could care less because I make money from wholesaling mobile homes. I want people to actually be fruitful from this side hustle. So Saturday school is one thing. I would just encourage anybody, if you're listening and you are interested, you can send me a DM. I'll definitely put you on the wait list. And then, of course, send you more information as June comes closer because y'all know time moves like this. Other ways that you can, of course, support me. I have a podcast as well called the Responsible Homegirl podcast. And I'm always sharing so much good information. So you can lock in with me there. I do have my own planner called the For Executors Only Planner. And I created that because I believe there are so many people out here sleeping on their dreams, sleeping on their visions. And I want people to get in the habit of writing your vision down and making it plain. What do I need to do on a daily basis to make my next 6 months my best 6 months? We are so overwhelmed by the whole year. And then here comes December and we have not accomplished a thing. So it's like, no, let's actually plan out our lives, plan out our daily lives, plan out what it is that we want our lives to look like. And within that planner, of course, y'all know I had to put like some personal finance stuff in there, some financial. So for all of my people who still like to budget on pen and paper, I know I personally do. Yeah. We have some budget in there. So it's just a really good way to, kind of change your mindset and get rid of procrastination, start being more intentional, start being more consistent, and really create the life that you desire and that you deserve.
I love it. And one thing that I share a lot with my audience, my clients, anyone, I'm always saying, like, find the coach for you. I understand I am not the coach for everyone. And some people will say, well, you will partner with other financial educators, because I understand that I'm not the coach for everyone. And what I really want them to really make sure that they heard from you is that you are a coach that values results of your clients. There's so many Instagram coaches that they don't care. As long as the invoice is paid and they uploaded the material, the rest is on you. And that's just how it is. Like, I invested so much money last year and did not get the results that I was hoping for a lot of different reasons. And a lot of the courses weren't kind of supporting me along the way, like your Saturday school. So if you are a person where you know that you value someone walking with you step by step in accomplishing a goal, then please do look into the Saturday school and follow Kionnie at the Responsible Homegirl pretty much on everything, TikTok, Instagram, and on podcasts as well. And make sure, you do your due diligence and find the person that is for you, that speaks to you. So
and let me tell you,
go ahead.
All right. I was so intentional about how I designed Saturday school. Because remember, I told you I invested $250 into the Mobile Home Elite Investors course, right? It took me 4 months to even take action. So of course, I needed somebody on my neck saying, what are you waiting on to get started? Why have you not ordered your bandit signs yet? Why have you not posted on the Facebook marketplace yet? Why are you not contacting mobile home parks? Why did it take me 4 months to actually get started?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this mindset thing that we just have like this bad habit of procrastinating. But if I am acting as if the gnat at the cookout, not annoying you or anything, but I'm just there like, okay, sis, you say you want this, but do you really want it? Because I tell my women all the time, I'm not going to babysit you, but I am going to be there to pick you up when you fall down. I'm going to be there to answer a question when you have one. I just want people to stop sleeping on themselves. Wake up,
sis. And accountability doesn't make you, if you need accountability, that does not make you any less of a person. There's some people there's some things like even with my gym journey, I share my fitness journey a lot. I like going to the gym in group settings because I need that accountability. I need someone sometimes to text me like, Tiana, you missed the gym this morning. Where were you at? Like, someone is looking for me. If I'm not a person where I can just go to Planet Fitness by myself. I just know that about me. I need someone to sometimes remind me what I said I was going to do. I shared that in my last episode. I'm trying to be more of a person where I'm a woman of my word. If I said I was going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick to my word. So sometimes that looks like being around someone that will uplift me, that will remind me, and not a yes man, not, I'm not going today. I don't feel like it. I'm not actually going for the rest of the week. And they just like, okay, yeah, you know what? Just take it easy. You don't have to worry about it. You need someone with you that's going to push you. If you really want to see some results, if you really want to level up and create additional streams of income outside of your 9-to-5 or have this be your main business, you are going to need someone along the way. So before we end, I did want to do a money round, which is kind of like a lightning round, but it's just 3 questions to just get to know you just a little bit more. So my first question is, what is a book that you have read in the past that has completely shifted your perspective on money or business?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, hands down.
Ooh, okay.
I read that book and I was like, wow, just get my whole life together.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm on like chapter 2 and I haven't finished. See, listen, I said I'm trying to be a woman of my word. I have to finish it. I'm going to finish it.
So good. So good.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. So majority of my audience is the go-to person in their family or friend group. So I'm curious, what are some ways that you refuel and make sure that you're not pouring out from an empty cup, especially from someone that has a service-based business, and then you have a whole nother type of business on the side? How do you make sure that you're like refueling yourself before you just get on Instagram and just serve all the time?
Oh, I love that question. So hands down, my morning routine. Like if I do not practice my morning routine, which is my time with God, my time to read a Bible plan or read a chapter of a book in the Bible, or read or journal, like I have to do it. If I don't do it and I just jump into my day, I'm a hot mess. The beauty in having that morning time spent with God is so many things come to me, like creative ideas, ways that I'm going to say different things. So as I'm spending time with him, he is actually filling me up in ways that I can serve other people. And I'm telling you, the more you serve other people, the money will come. Yeah. There has been these that have fallen, and I don't even want to say fallen into my lap, like, because it hasn't fallen into my lap. Like God has blessed me with these opportunities because of my service to him and to other people. So hands down, my time spent with God in the morning.
Okay. I love that. I just recently started, morning and night routine. So I'm there with you. It is key. If I don't do it, I'm moody all over the place.
Right.
So my last one is, what would you say to someone that may be listening who feels like giving up because life just isn't exactly where they want it to be just yet? What would you say, like some words of encouragement to kind of just keep going?
Absolutely. So some words of encouragement. Number one, do not focus on what you currently see, because what you currently see is not forever. It's temporary. So if you can tell yourself this is a temporary situation and thank God for preparing you for what's to come, that will change everything. There has been times in my life where I have been so stressed, crying, just filled with worry, filled with doubt, filled with anxiety. And I just have to remind myself, this isn't forever. Thank you, God, for preparing me for what's to come. And I don't even know what's to come, but I know it's going to be something good. It has to be. This can't be the end of the story. If it's bad, it cannot be the end. So that's like my main thing. It is temporary, and thank God that this is preparing you for what's to come.
Ooh, I love that. That is such a great way to end the episode. I absolutely love it. Kionnie, tell us where we can find you. I know I said it in the middle, but share with us where we can find you at if we want to stay connected.
Yes. So it's literally the Responsible Homegirl on everything. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, podcast, YouTube. I am uploading financial education and entrepreneurship content on a daily basis. It's a whole lot of work, but I know what I'm doing helps so many people. So stay locked in with me. If you want to get on my email list, you can just go to theresponsiblehomegirl.com and you can join my email list there. But it's the Responsible Homegirl on everything.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, for allowing me to interview you, being my first ever interview. Girl, I feel like I'm sweating bullets. I feel like I am sweating bullets. This has been so fun. Absolutely love it. And you guys check out Kionnie, everything that she has to offer. But that is it for this episode. We will catch you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
Absolutely.